Hello friends, Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at Star Wars Transformers Millennium Falcon, or Falcon. The set comes with a mini Han Solo and Chewie, and is boxed, well, pretty substantially. To give you an idea on the size of this box. Studios Series Megatron. And I'm sorry, my lights are just picking up glare so much from this thing. Each side of the box has a different figure. We have Millennium Falcon, or we have Chewie and Han here. Here's Chewie and Han again. And then the ship mode. So let's open it up and take a look. The minifigures that the set comes with are really, really tiny. And they're also well painted, sort of. Height-wise, they are just a smidge smaller than a Prime Master or a Titan's Master. Also, both of these figures are very difficult to get standing. I don't know why, but both of their plastic bottoms actually need to be sanded just ever so slightly, because for some reason there are small little burrs on the bottom that prevent them from standing up straight, especially Chewie. The Millennium Falcon ship itself is incredibly well done. The paint wash and just the overall look of the ship is good. I'm hammered, or just super impressed. We'll just say I'm super impressed with the look. Getting it centered is a little bit difficult. They even went so far as to do the exhaust markings on the back of the ship. That's just attention to detail that I don't think Hasbro is ever going to do. I also wanted to give everybody a look at the ship from the side. The molding is just so well done here. I really am impressed. And even though Vader's was okay, I think they hit it out of the park with the modeling on this, or with the molding and the paint and everything. The set does come with a few accessories, the first of which is this piece up here, which is actually 3 different pieces. These are the guns for Han Solo in robot mode in this nice holster on top. It also comes with the satellite dish, and then it also comes with a gun here on the very bottom of the ship that turns into Chewie's bowcaster. Now, the bottom of the ship also has the landing gears, and the landing gears are just simply on little metal pegs, and they just fold up just like that. Getting them out again is a little bit of a getting them out again is a little troubling, or a little problematic. Though, what you want to do is get your finger on the little latches, or little protrusions at the bottom, or the base of the landing gears. That way they'll flip out a little easier. The one thing I don't like about the model, or the molding, is that these pins are a little bit on the loose side. Nothing a little pledge won't work, but if you push on the set the wrong way, the legs just have a tendency, or the landing gears have a tendency to just collapse. Both Han and Chewie can be stored, or can actually sit in this mode. Han will sit up here in the pilot's seat, which is actually a little bit difficult to open, but once you get your thumb in there, it's okay. And he just loosely, very loosely, sits in there. And then Chewie goes up top. And really, all you do is lay Chewie down. I mean, that's the way the directions even show it. Just lay Chewie down. The only problem is, this door doesn't always stay closed, as you just saw. There are pegs that are supposed to peg it closed, but they don't work so well. So you kind of have to push it down, and even then, well, it held, of course. This time it held. But I've had it where I've picked it up, turned it, and this door's just flat out opened up and dropped Chewie on the floor. The transformation for this set is pretty cool. To start off with, go ahead and remove the bowcaster, the satellite dish, which you don't have to remove the satellite dish, but it does help, and the cannons up on top. Flip the figure over and close the landing gear. And then you can, if you want to, remove Han and Chewie. Just for the purpose of this review, I'm going to go ahead and pop Han and Chewie out. Now, come to the section, the docking ports, and just in front of them, push down, and then while pushing down, kind of wiggle the docking ports away from the rest of the body of the figure. And then that will disconnect the entire rear of the ship from the front. Specifically, you want to put your thumb just behind where the cockpit is and push down while pushing the docking port up. You can do the same thing on the other side. Get your thumb just behind where the satellite dish was, push down, and then push up on the docking port at the same time. And that will peg each section out, and you can split them apart. Putting the front of the vehicle mode off to the side, we're going to go ahead and start with the back. Grab the section that had Chewie in it, and push it down towards the middle, and then accordion it all the way to the top of the vehicle mode. And hey, Robo Chewie's face! Next, come to the area just below the docking ports and kind of wiggle them away from the rest of the body. And then these will fold out to form the arms. And yes, unfortunately, the arms, or the forearms, are completely hollow. Nothing I can do about that. Next, grab the entire bottom section and wiggle it apart and pull it down and away from the rest of the body. And it kind of wants to pull away on its own when you start pulling down. Then you could grab the section and fold them both down and out to form the legs, and then close up the panels to form the back of the legs. And then reach inside and flip out the feet like so. And then simply just kind of turn everything until you could get things in place. Oh, one last thing. The section that's covering up the knees, grab them and just kind of flip them forward like that. The last bit of the transformation for Chewie is turn the figure around to the back, take the sections that are just under the armpits, fold them to the back of the figure, and flip them straight up like that. And then we could flip out these little brown pieces to form the jet thrusters for the robot mode. This is the gun that was on the bottom of the ship. Flip out the sides of the bowcaster, and then reach underneath and flip out the handle and give it to Chewie. Chewbacca transformation complete. Now let's move on to Han Solo. To start off with the Han Solo transformation, turn the figure up and, hi Han. Okay, joking aside, take the cockpit and turn it, the whole thing, until it is sticking straight out from the side of the vehicle mode. Then you could grab the entire cockpit and fold it out and point it down along the fuselage. Come to the back of the cockpit and push this little panel in, and it should rotate around like that. We want it to be pointing straight down in parallel with the body, like that. Finally, there's a little peg hole right there, and the cockpit will peg in to that peg hole. Now turning that entire section around 180 degrees, come down to the middle section and grab this little panel and flip it up like that. Take the entire bottom part of the ship, grab it and fold it down, and it will peg into the panel like that. Turn the figure back to the front, grab the section to the side and pull it apart and fold it up, and do the same thing on the other side. And these will obviously become the arms, but first we have to deal with this whole section back here that unpegs. So we'll just unpeg it, or peg it out of the way, and just move it a little bit out of the way like that. Get these sections unpegged completely before you do that. And this is a little bit harder to do than you might think, because things peg in really weird on certain sections. There we go. Okay. Whoop! Popped a ball joint. So before I put that piece back on, what you want to do is fold it back and then just close it up to form the thrusters for Han. And then when you go to reattach the ball joint that you will most likely pop off, it pops right back on. Just fold it straight back and close it, and there you go. And now we can come down to the fists, or the arms, and flip out the fists and rotate the arms around and just get everything situated. The next piece is going to come down all the way from the top of the head all the way down. Pull that section all the way out, flip the front of it all the way up, and then fold it down at the second hinge until it pegs into place in this peg hole right here. And getting that lined up is a little tricky, but there we go. And then that will allow us to take these little sections that are on the sides and fold them forward to close up the gap that's made in the chest. Next, come down to the very front of the Millennium Falcon and flip these sections all the way out and up. Then we could flip out the knees while unpegging them from the ship parts from the rest of the body. And then come inside where the feet are stored and flip them down. And getting the front of the toes to come out is actually kind of hard, especially if you don't have any fingernails. Because of the way these are sandwiched up, it requires a bit of force, and unfortunately, I don't have any fingernails. So what I do to get the feet out is I take a gun from another figure, and I push it on the back, and it pops right out, like that. Now we can turn the legs and get him stood up. Oh, and we also have to add his satellite dish, give him his guns back, and all that fun stuff. And here's Han Solo's robot mode. Now let's take a look at both of them together. I absolutely love the look of these guys. They are so much better looking than the original Chewie and Han Solo Millennium Falcon from the original Star Wars Transformers line. They both are very well detailed, and I think they both encapsulate the characters that they're going for incredibly well. There are some real problems, though, and we'll get into those in just a little bit, but for now, I'm really happy with the aesthetic, and just standing next to each other, they look really, really cool. Poseability-wise, Han Solo can look down that much, can look up that much, hinge in the shoulder with a swivel just below that, upper arm swivel, 90-degree bend at the elbow, no fist articulation, no torso articulation, can kick forward that much, can kick back that much, can kick out, thigh swivel, over 90-degree bend at the knee. As you can see, Han Solo's robot mode is pretty poseable. However, there is looseness in the knee joints that I really don't like, but that could be solved by tightening these small little screws. Otherwise, the figure is plenty poseable, except for the thigh swivels. The thigh swivels are too loose. Really, they are much too loose. So a little bit of, floor polish should fix that just fine. Chewbacca can look down that much, can look up that much, has a shoulder that goes back and forth, forward and back on a different joint, upper arm swivel, 90-degree bend at the elbow, no fist articulation, torso articulation, legs can kick forward that much, can kick back that much, can split way more than Han Solo, almost 90-degree bend at the knee, unfortunately no real toe articulation, more than what is used for the transformation. Now this figure is problematic because the pins in the hips are way too loose. They are so loose, in fact, they can't even hold their own weight. Well, at least the left one sort of can. And that creates problems because, the knees. I forgot to mention the knees. Same issue as Han Solo with the knees, but again, there's a little screw right there. Tightening that fixes it up. Oh, and yes, same problem with the thigh swivels. Much too loose. Otherwise, it's pretty good, but man, for the price that this thing was, there's got to be better QC on this. It can't even hold its own weight up on a slippery desk. It just slides and falls over on its own, which is a real shame. No Wookiee should ever do that. Size-wise, these figures both scale between a deluxe and a current Voyager class figure. Now, I'm using Megatron here, but Megatron is slightly big for a Voyager class figure, so here's Brawl. I'm trying to fit him into the frame. It's not working real well, but his head is roughly the same height as Chewie's. Believe me, he could fit. Scale-wise, I'm fine with the scale. I just wish the set was cheaper, considering how big everything else is. Oh, let me move that out of the way. There we go. Now you can see Megatron poking its head up back there. There we go. Anyway, like I said, they scale a little bit bigger than a Deluxe and a little bit smaller than a Voyager. Just a smidge. But you wouldn't be able to tell that from all the bulk they're carrying. I absolutely love these things. I think they are amazing. The wonderful engineering involved. Yeah, they're bulky, they're beefy, and I like that. Because let's face it, Star Wars feels bulky, beef, and chunky, and kind of dirty at times. So I really do like this set, but man, for the price, what is with the QC issues in these joints? Especially on Chewie. I mean, I just picked the figure up and he fell over. I mean, come on. Takara, what are you doing? Getting the figures back into the Millennium Falcon mode, I am both very delighted and a bit angry with this set. I love this ship mode. This ship mode is absolutely fantastic, even if the pegs here on the bottom are a little bit weird. And the look of both of the robots is really cool. I love the look of Chewie and Han in robot mode. That's the reason I bought the set, is because I just like that combo, the robot modes so much. But man, those QC issues in the legs are just a bummer. I'm hoping that this is a first run issue. I'm really hoping that as these figures get more out there or see more of a mass deployment release, that those QC issues are going to get fixed at some point. I really do. I really want this set to be flawless. It's expensive, and for the price you're paying, you should not, or one should not be having this many or these issues. It's just strange. It's like a couple of corners were just cut for no reason. I don't get it. And I put Quake on the Millennium Falcon because I could. So, my friends, the final verdict is wait. Unless you're a massive Star Wars and Transformers fan, like myself, go ahead and pick it up now, but know there could be some issues. If you're comfortable with waiting a little bit, just wait a couple of months, maybe closer to Christmas, when they'll hopefully have a second revision of these figures out on store shelves with maybe some fixes. And who knows, maybe some third-party folks will come by and do something else with it. So, my friends, thank you so much for watching this video review. As always, I'm going to ask you to hit that subscribe and that like button, or the like it button and the subscribe button, and be sure to hit the bell somewhere over that way so you know when I put up a new video review. As always, I am Baltmatrix, and may the Force be with you.